I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to FPL. Don't panic. Yeah, I am back. Don't really know where to start, really. Yeah, it's been a challenging few weeks. I'm not going to go into that. A few of you guys out there know what I've been dealing with for the last 3 weeks. Not been fun. And those of you, as I say, that I have had chats with and know everything's gone. Thank you so much for your lovely supportive messages. I really do appreciate it. But I'm back. We've taken a few a few drops in the last few weeks. Well, to say the least, I have not been paying attention. Do a brief, very brief review of the last few game weeks. I'm not going to talk too much about it, as I say. Yeah, I was in I don't give a shit mode, to be quite frank. Game week 36, I literally did nothing. Team just went out. We took a 10k drop. And yeah, that wasn't bad, all things considered. Considering I did absolutely nothing, and the one transfer that I had thought about doing would have actually paid off. I think one of my last messages, actually very early in the season, actually I talked about Sade. I'd done that a few weeks ago as I planned to do, but it just everything fell off a cliff. That would have worked out very well for me, and I'd have been able to use the pun that I've been wanting to use for ages. What was it? Yeah, was it Sade? What was the Sade song? I can't remember what else. It'll come to me in a second. Sade, not your love is king. Sade, smooth operator. Yeah, I was really looking forward to using that as my title pun for a video. Wasn't to be. I don't know if any of you saw the tip and picked up on it. I hope so. Would have worked out very well for you. As it was, I did absolutely nothing for those few weeks except I've taken drops. Then for game week 37, I did have a look, and I just did make stupid decisions. They weren't very well thought out, and the stupidest amongst them you can see there. What the hell was I thinking? Palmer, captain? Seriously. Bad days. But listen, I really, as I say, yeah, was, yeah, really didn't care, to be quite frank. However, I am back and now I do care. So that's 53. I've dropped to 60k, which in some ways I was at 40k, which was fantastic. And if I probably had been paying attention, I think I'd have held rank at least. But if I had brought the Sade one in, that would have probably risen me a bit. And if I hadn't done this stupid freaking Palmer punt, and done and not taken the hit, yeah, I would have still been holding in there around the 50k or more. Not quite sure where it would have gone or who I would have had instead of Palmer. On hits, I started listening to a little bit of content again and having a little look at how some of the top teams are doing. Number 1, taking no hits. Number 4, taking no hits. Just heard them talking on a couple of the other content providers' channels this morning. No hits. It really has, I think, got to be a strategy for next year. And in the post-season review, I will have starting to get some thoughts around what's worked for me this year, what hasn't worked, and obviously clearly the mistakes that I've made and how they can easily be corrected. So when I do my season review and plans for 25-26 season, yeah, very clear thoughts around what to do, and I think we'll up the ante. My target this year, just in my first full season of ever playing this and paying attention for a full season, apart from the last few game weeks, was a top 100k finish. I think we're going to up the ante on that next year to maybe top 50k, maybe more. And we've got Jason. Had a look at his rank now. Jason, who's number 1 in the FPL Don't Panic Challenge League, just outside the top 5k now, doing amazingly well. What I'll also do before the start of the next game week, I hope, is catch up on the Bishop Brennan Cups winners. One of those winners, been hunting it. He's been wanting it for weeks, well, for months and months, and he finally got there. The one week when I didn't actually do a video for it, so I won't say who it is yet, but my apologies. But we'll rectify that situation shortly. And I think we have a 3-time winner. Look, just having a quick look through the scores for this week. So we'll do a Bishop Brennan's Cup winners special, catch-up special, in the next day or so. Right, what are we doing now? As you can see, I still haven't quite got my thoughts fully together, have I? Yeah, bad game week. Stupid decisions. Wasn't really paying attention. I just sort of did it just for the hell of it, to be honest with you. But yeah, still sticking at 60k. So unless I really mess up completely this week, which is not impossible. We should at least achieve the top 100k finish, but I'd like to think maybe I could get it inside that top 50k, which I'd be really, really pleased about. That would be overachieving on what I'd aimed for this season, obviously. Um, um, and yeah, be a pretty good result, I think. Anyway, I think what we'll do is talk about rather than reviewing this game week. I don't, just it's done, it's dusted. And as I say, there's no point saying what strategy I adopted because there really wasn't a strategy. It was just throw it out there and see what happens. But putting a little bit more thought into this game week, I certainly don't want to drop. I'd like to get some rank rises. We are effectively in beach football season. There's some things I think we all need to think about in this game week. There's obviously risks of rotations. There's narratives to be written on what players might achieve. But I think the big challenge is obviously the risk rotations. So I have actually made one transfer already. I have utilised my exact money. That's why I decided to do it in case there was a price drop or a price rise. And so I've utilised my full $108 million budget. Seems appropriate way to finish the season. I did actually put a big focus at the beginning of the season to building building a decent bank balance, and that has proved useful as I've been able to sometimes stretch for players that others were not able to get. And at the beginning of the season, and this is a strategy I do think I'll adopt next year again, is when there is no European football, etc., take the chances with those early transfers and moving players out before price drops, before deadline, because the injury risks and things are less. And that will certainly be something I adopt again next year, because it just does help you so much as the season goes on, as you're trying to get those players that others can't quite reach. Bank balance is important. It is as simple as that. And we'll talk about that more when I sort of lay out my rules and strategy for 25-26 when we do the season review. Anyway, having a look here. So yes, Salah. I brought Salah in. I moved him out for Parma, and now I'm moving him back in for his final game week. And I've moved De Bruyne out. I've moved De Bruyne out because I think he's had his City swan song. Should have brought me some points in that game as well. That miss, oh my God, I can't. That ball did take a bobble, to be fair, just as he went to strike it, just rose just a couple of inches, and he just got under it a bit. But that would have been a big difference on the last game week. However, I've taken De Bruyne out. I've brought Salah in. I've put the captain's armband on him. There's a narrative there. I think Salah is. I think he's just two goals shy of the 30. There's some records he's still trying to achieve. I know Liverpool were on the beach. I just cannot believe they're going to not really try and put on a show for the last game at Anfield. Do they get the trophy in this one? I think they do. I think they receive the trophy. So I think it's a big game. I think they're going to want to put on a show. They're playing a team that is quite literally on the beach and at the beach. And I think yeah, I think it could be a good one. I think we could finally get what we've been lacking from Salah for quite a few weeks now. Is it since about game week 28, 29? He'd broken all the records, broken the FPL points record, and then just disappeared. And interestingly, it was around the same time last year that he disappeared. Now, is this to do with Ramadan? Is it? No, last year he had Ramadan and the Africa's Cup all at the same time. He didn't come back the same player, but it was the same time last year that he had that drop off. But I think there's a narrative there for him to bag a couple of goals. He's obviously highly owned. I think having the captain's armband on him, though, although not being a big differentiator, because I think the captaincy is going to be spread quite a bit this week. I think if he does haul, I think it could sort of get that sort of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 place rise, and of course he is still pretty much 100% owned. So it also helps to cover the risk of me dropping outside that top 100k if he did suddenly go off, and most of the game has him, and he comes in with a 20-pointer. That would knock me outside the top 100k. I have to cover that risk, I think, to at the very least, make sure I achieve the overall objective of staying in the top 100k. but it just might get me a decent rank rise as well. Maybe push me towards the top 50k if he does well. Now I'm going to have to look at my phone here because it's a small screen just as I go through the team. There are risks this week. Yeah, I'm not double PC'd at the moment. At the moment, I'm actually in Hartford in England. Just come over from Ireland. So I'm just staying with my girlfriend in Hartford for a couple of weeks before heading back to Ireland. So not got all my facilities or indeed faculties about me at the moment. So I'm just going to have to look at my phone because I'm not double laptopped at the moment. The team as a whole, it's okay. I'm not going to take any hits. I'm going to talk a lot about hits. I'm going to do a bit of analysis around hits when this season is over, at those leading teams and how they managed through those periods where they must have had injuries, they must have had bad fixtures. It was quite interesting listening to the chap. I think he was on Gianni. Yeah, I think he was on Gianni's show this morning. It was just quite interesting listening to him talking about his strategy for the season and the take no hit and managing through those periods where there were injuries, the rollings of transfers, etc. It feels almost like a boring way because it is quite exciting taking a hit and playing the fixtures, but just more often than not, it just doesn't work. Those top teams do not take hits. Anyway, where I would and could and I'm tempted to take a hit is in my goalkeeper. It's just there's no good is going to come from my goalkeeping situation this week. It's the only place I think where I'm I'm going to have to play Jose Sa or Henderson away to Liverpool. At the moment, I've got Jose Sa in goal. I can't see much chance of a clean sheet against Brentford. And Mbeumo and Wizard are, they're both of them are returning every week. And Mbeumo's been a little bit disappointing. His returns have been low. Wizard's been absolutely magnificent for me. I think he's been. I've had him in 3 times in separate occasions this season, and for periods of time, and every time he's delivered. He's been absolutely brilliant. So I would imagine I can't see Wolves keeping a clean sheet, but then I certainly can't see Henderson keeping a clean sheet either. However, a few save points, you never know. We'll see what happens there. Defensively, yeah, pretty happy with that. City still have something to play for. So I think Gvardiol is nailed, and you never know. He's starting, I think, to get out on that wing again now. So you never know. There's always a chance of an attacking return. Milenkovic, Forest, obviously a lot to play for. So yeah, reasonable fixture, I think, at home to Chelsea. Chelsea could also a lot to play for. Wouldn't mind having a Chelsea asset somewhere. And you'll note that I have got Palmer on the bench in case of a rotation, an unexpected rotation, because there is obviously a high risk this week with rotations of players. And that's something we all just have to face. That's just something we all have to face. I just think the importance of having a strong, do we call Palmer a strong first off the bench? Probably not, given his performances of late. But it could be worse, and you never know. You never know. If he does have to come in, there's always a chance. He's always going to get a chance in the game, a chance of a penalty or something like that. So we shall see. Konate, that feels like a potential rotation risk, but I do think Slot will go with the team that's won the league to put on a performance. And Trent's not obviously going to play, so I think he'll be okay. I think there's a little bit of risk there, but we've got Ait-Nouri, I guess, second off the bench if Konate doesn't come on at all, and if he just comes on for a 1-pointer, it's just the risk I have to take. Just the risk I have to take. Midfield, very happy with. And it's been serving me reasonably well. It's sort of kept things going while I've been offline for the last few weeks. Bowen's been absolutely brilliant for me. Captaincy consideration. If I wasn't going for Salah, absolutely. Just given the consistency, and I don't think too many of us, have had what we'd consider a captain's haul for some weeks now. We were just getting spoiled with throwing the captain's armband on Salah there for the first 30 games of the season and coming in with 20 and 30 pointers, and that's obviously fallen off a cliff as we're all trying to choosing Isak, choosing Mbeumo. They've not been returning brilliantly. They've been returns, but it's certainly not been hauls. So So yeah, but Bowen, if I'd thrown the captain's armband on him the last 6 or 7 weeks, I'd have been flying. I'd have been up in the top 20k comfortably, but I didn't. And Wemo, yeah, happy enough. He's not been returning brilliantly. Missed that penalty last week, I think, didn't he? I haven't seen any of the games, but um, so yeah, Wolves away. Wolves, I think. Yeah, their season's done. They've survived. Cunha doesn't look like he's going to get another kick for them. Looks like though he's pretty much definitely on his way to United. So their attacking threat greatly diminished. Although, in fairness, Strand Larson, who I had and got rid of about 10 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, has kept returning since then. I think I know one or two of you did actually hang on to him. So fair play on that call. And Salah, yeah. Is this another bad, almost, it can't be as bad as Palmer, can it? As a call to bring him in and captain him for the last game of the season. They're getting presented with the title. He needs 2 goals to hit 30. He's got the assist record he's still going for. Good feeling about it. Good feeling about it. And Rogers, Man United away. Man United just got beaten in the Europa League final. Team just looks awful. I did actually watch that game last night. Oh my God, it was just the quality from both Spurs and United was really, really poor. Really, really poor. They looked like two teams that if they don't sort the shit out, will actually be fighting relegation next year, unless Leeds and whoever come up are equally as bad as Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton. Don't think there's any real rotation risks in that midfield, so that's going to be key in that. I think all of them, you know, should be starters. Can't see. I know West Ham don't have anything to play for as such, but Bowen's, he's their main man. He's their talisman. I can't see him been left out. Bemo, Brentford still have a bit of a possibility of Europe. Salah last game at home. Premier League getting presented. Can't see a change there, and Aston Villa lots to play for. Risks up front would be Isak. I think he will play. If you have him, he's either going to play or he's not going to play. I don't think he's worth a transfer out, depending on where your team's at in terms of your bench, etc. I don't think he's worth a transfer out. I'll tell you why. Everton done their job now. They've had their last game at Goodison. They've done well. They've survived relegation. They're looking for next year. And I think they've got some key defenders out as well. Could be a good game for Newcastle. And again, lots to play for. Newcastle have got a lot to play for. I think because Newcastle really only they had the game against Arsenal. I just think they went low risk with Isak. And I think he'll be back for this one. I really do think he'll be back for this one. Because if they were going to risk him for any game, they think, okay, we've got 2 games. We need to win one of them. Arsenal, probably not going to win that. Everton at home, we'll win that. Let's make sure we've got all our big guns fit, ready, and healthy for that. So I think he'll play, but I think it's low risk having him start if you've got a good option coming off your bench. So that's where I would go, and I think maybe there might be a few of you thinking about transferring Isak out. I am not going to do it. Watkins, yeah, I think hard to say what way Ruben Amorim will go with United, but I would imagine they're going to be a bit flat. Might even just rotate, and just now it's a matter of for them looking towards next season. If they come out to play, which United might, that's good as well. Maybe we'll get a really good beach football game with about 10 games in it, a 5-5 draw, and Watkins, which he has shown he can do, gets involved in 3 or 4 goals. And Wizard's Wizard, going nowhere, obviously. Fabulous player, done amazing for me, done 2 or 3 separate stints where I bought him this year. So yeah, he's an absolute, absolute, and I absolute definite. And I would say if you were thinking of transferring someone in, someone to play for, you could do a lot worse than Wizard. If you were seriously thinking, say, of transferring Isak out, I think a few of you've got Mateta. That him out, Wizard in, maybe. That would be a very, very good move, I think. Then the bench, Palmer. Yeah, first off the bench. I mean, Jesus, that seems crazy, doesn't it? Having an 11 million, was he 10.5, 11 million player? First off the bench, but it's just not happening for him. But it might happen for him, so I'm fairly comfortable with him first off the bench, just in case Izek doesn't play, or in case there is some surprise rotation. The Bowen. No, I can't do that. That wouldn't work, would it? Yeah, no, it would work. Yeah. Bowen. I don't think so. I suspect that team, all that 11, will play, and I think for the last game of the season, that's the best you can hope for, really. That it looks reasonably strong. Most of them have got something to play for, and that they all actually play. And we'll see how that shapes up. So that is where that is at for now. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's good to be back. Let's hopefully get a good end to the season. I think my target at the moment, love to crack that top 50,000. And I think if Salah does the business for me, I think that might be possible. I think it would have to be a bit of a disaster to fall outside the top 100k. That would be disappointing. I have to say that would be disappointing. But given the miracle that I managed to accomplish more by luck, I think, than anything else, coming through the chip season without chips, and to actually rise up to 40k, I would be gutting to fall out of the top 100k after coming through what was an incredibly challenging part of the season, actually moving up the ranks. So that is this one. I will try and come back tomorrow. I'll just do a quick look at the Bishop Brennan Cup winners, and we'll do a little Bishop Brennan Cup winner. I unfortunately don't have the trophy with me in England, so even if the winners are in England, which I think one or two of you might be, you can't collect it. But yeah, you have to forgive me on that one. Yeah, I left it in the suitcase in Ireland, so that is that situation. Listen, guys, I am rambling a bit. It has been it's been a tough couple of weeks, but I'm back. I'm here. Let's have a little bit of fun to the end of the season. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all shapes up. Take care. Have fun. Play your own game. Don't panic. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.